What's up, self-healers? Lisa Lightfeather here. Welcome to my channel, Closing the Gap, where we make a conscious effort to meet you where you're at on your healing and your spiritual journey. Today, I wanted to come on and speak about a topic in regards to working with sacred plant medicine and narcissism. So for those of you who don't know, I have a master's degree from the University of Southern California in social work. I've also practiced for the last 8-9 years of being a medicine woman and working with plant medicine. I usually travel to the jungles of Peru when I do this work, right? Or other places in South America. So what I've come to learn is that there are a lot of people who come to the sacred plants for healing, a lot of family members that will encourage they want to heal their family members, and the family member may have narcissism, but the person that's trying to heal them is usually the empath. And so the empath is trying to bring the narcissist to the plants to try to heal them, right? Well, what I've learned is that plant medicine and narcissism is an interesting dynamic, because what happens is the plant medicine will tap into the ego of the person, right? And someone who is, we will always have our ego with us. There's no way we can get rid of our ego, but it will tap into the ego. It will make you see the deepest parts of yourself, in the deepest cracks, the deepest corners of yourself. And then when you come out of that plant medicine, you have to do the shadow work, and you have to face self, basically, right? Now, it doesn't always happen the first time someone sits with plant medicine. The first time someone sits with plant medicine, it's just a beautiful experience, right? And so the plants are normally very gentle on a person, and then they go deeper and deeper as you continue to work with plant medicine. But the plant medicine will show you your trauma. It'll show you your deepest wounds, the root of your deepest wounds. It'll show you something that happened to you at 3 is the reason you act like you do at 33, right? The reason you respond to certain things in a traumatic way at 33 is because something that you forgot about that happened to you at 3. So what it ultimately does is it brings up trauma, and it brings up darkness, and it brings up light, it brings up beauty, it brings up peace and healing and all those things. But the reason it doesn't work with narcissism is because when it brings up these, during your integration phase, after you've sat with the medicine, there is a period of integration that could last from 6 months to a year, where you're integrating what the plants have shown you, right? Well, during that time, you may forget that you've even sat with plant medicine, but shadows will start coming up, anger, jealousy, resentment, fears, whatever will start coming up. And when you do a proper integration, you integrate those emotions as they come up. You see yourself. Oh, I see, I'm responding with fear. It's very hard to see yourself, right? But when a person is dedicated to their own healing, then they see themselves on purpose. And it can be very daunting, right? Doing shadow work and inner child work can be very daunting, because it takes an own purpose attitude. You have to deliberately do it, right? Like, oh, I caught myself having fear that I'll never be able to accomplish what the person next door to me accomplished, or the person to my left. I caught myself feeling envy, or I caught myself feeling anger, or I caught myself wanting revenge. And so you kind of like sit down and you say, well, you go back to the first time you ever felt that, like the first time that you can remember you felt that. Like, say, for example, when was the first time I ever felt fear? Well, the first time I felt fear was when I woke up and somebody was standing over my bed and I was 6, right? And then you kind of work backwards up until 36 and say, oh, I felt fear then, I felt fear then, I felt fear then. And then at 36, why did I feel that fear today? Oh, I can see, because it's kind of like what we do in the military, which is backwards planning, right? So you start from the beginning and work backwards to where you are and seeing why you felt that fear. So as you can see, this can be a very daunting task. But when people are really ready to heal, they're willing to do that work, right? So the reason that the plant medicine doesn't work with narcissism is because narcissists don't want to see themselves And so what the plant medicine does is it does the opposite. And so a lot of times family members, I had this one girl who would come to the ceremonies and say that, oh, my sister's going to finally heal. I'm so happy that we found plant medicine and that my sister's going to finally heal. Well, I didn't say anything to her, but I could see that she was the empath and that the sister was the narcissist. And the sister was dead bent on stopping her. The empath is just blind as a bat. I'm going to heal my sister. My sister's going to heal. My sister's going to heal. And nothing but demons came out of the sister. Nothing but demons came out of the sister. And the sister got worse. And so from my experience, plant medicine does not heal narcissism. It does not. It amplifies it. So anything that's in you, deep in you, the plant medicine will amplify it. So if deep inside of you have compassion and love and it's blocked with all of this trauma and stuff, the plant medicine will bring out that compassion and love. Yeah. And it'll help you heal the trauma and you can integrate the trauma. Now, underneath that love and light, there's that shadow that most empaths have repressed, right? And so that's when the real work comes in, when the empath has to do the shadow work. They have to see themselves. They have to see they're ugly. And then they take their light and their ugly and they yin and yang it. I do have the capacity to be dark, but it's my desire to be light. And when you start yin and yanging it, when you start balancing it out, it's that masculine and that feminine energy coming together to make one be more whole, be more of who they truly, truly are. Well, the narcissist struggles with this because remember, they don't know who they are. That's part of the demonic forces is they don't know who they are and they don't want to see anything bad in themselves. They don't have the capacity to see anything bad in themselves. And so what it does is it amplifies the ego. It amplifies the narcissism. And they usually come out of these plant healing ceremonies worse than they were when they went in. It brings the narcissism to the surface, to the forefront. That's what happens. So for those people who bring their loved ones into ceremony, hoping, or their lovers or their husbands or their wives in the ceremony, hoping that they've tried everything they could to heal this person that they love, and they bring them to plant medicine ceremonies, and then they find out that basically the plant medicine just amplifies what's already in the person. So if you have a loved one that you want to bring to some type of plant medicine healing ceremony, I encourage you to do so. But I'm giving you a heads up that it does amplify whatever is already in you. And then one has to do the work to integrate what the medicine brings to the surface. The shadow work, the journaling, the inner child work. And it's just a sad fact that most narcissists are not willing to do this difficult work. And it's a continuous work. It's a lifelong journey, just like it was a lifelong journey for you to gather all that trauma, to go through all that trauma. You've been going through trauma for years. One plant medicine ceremony is equivalent to 20 years of therapy, but one has to do the work. They have to do the work. Yeah. So it is a beautiful way to heal if one is ready for it, if one has been called to it. But I wouldn't get my hopes up high with your loved one or whoever the person is that you desire to sit with plant medicine. A lot of times these narcissists come to the plant medicine ceremonies to cipher energy and to try to take over the ceremony with their demonic spirits. And so they're not really there to heal, especially after they realize they're a narcissist. When they first come, they might not really know. And so they sit with it. Then the ego amplifies. And then, but most times they come back again and again. It's to take control of the ceremony, to take control of the energy in the room. It's really a demonic thing to witness. It's sad. And so for whatever family members are thinking of taking their loved ones in for healing, to sit with a shaman of some sort, well, I just have to say that you may be sadly disappointed. Now, as a social worker, I attended something called a BIPOC last night, which is Black, Indigenous, and People of Color. When it comes to counseling and mental health and therapy, they do have something called ketamine that we're slowly legalizing and working with clients, right? Ketamine is ultimately a horse tranquilizer, and they also use it during anesthesia when you're going under surgery. And so a lot of therapists are using something called ketamine now, and I'll come back and make a video on that as I learn more. But the ketamine is something that they're working with, and it's akin to sacred plant medicine, but it's actually a horse tranquilizer that takes a person under, and they go deep within the subconscious. And so the BIPOC is a completely different, totally different video, but it's the Black, Indigenous, and people of color, where we're coming to realize that within the counseling arena that they don't really understand our culture, our traumas, and things of that sort. So we're bringing up our own, we're bringing our own traumas to the forefront to say, hey, you guys really don't know how to address our traumas, so forth and so on. Another video for another day. Well, that's all I have for you today here on Closing the Gap, when speaking on the topic of narcissism and plant medicine, and how really what plant medicine does to the narcissist is it just makes the mask fall and it amplifies the ego. So that has been my personal experience. I've seen nothing different outside of that. And until I do, I stand on the fact that plant medicine does not cure narcissism. It only amplifies it. Well, that's all I have for you today here on Closing the Gap. If you like my energy, you like my vibe, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you're really feeling me, hit that bell notification so that you know the next time that I upload. We'll see you next time here on Closing the Gap. Y'all have a good day.